What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my first video here on IGTV. I guess you can call it IGJV. That was a terrible joke, please forgive me. I made the same video for both YouTube and IGTV, and that might happen from time to time. Over on IGTV, I'm not too sure what content I'm going to do because YouTube is what I have been focusing on, and we'll see where the synergy kind of lies between the two. But in any case, if you're somehow not informed about what IGTV is, it is a brand new vertical video long-form platform made by Instagram. Now, if you think that vertical video is like the worst thing in the world, well, get ready because it's going to be the future, it seems like. And I've been doubling down on vertical video recently because I do a lot of Instagram stories, especially when I'm traveling. So I kind of already put my mindset into the vertical video space, so the transition actually might not be all that difficult for me. Now, there are a lot of videos out there explaining what IGTV is, and you can take a look at all of those if you want a little bit of a lowdown as to what Instagram is trying to do here. But what I wanted to do here on this channel and also on my IGTV is to give you guys a few different tips that I can impart on how to get started with vertical video. I'm just providing some general tips that should be translatable to a lot of different editing platforms. That way you can get started and then you just let your creativity take over. Number one, use your phone. Now, obviously the reason why vertical video is even a thing is because of our smartphones. Now, you hold the phone much like this for most of the time, and it's pretty cool when you have a video actually cover the entire canvas of the thing that's in your pocket all the time. The other cool thing about smartphones is that all the tools are basically built in. You have the microphones on smartphones, which are already pretty good, and then you have the front-facing camera if you want to do host segments. But if you want to do even better looking footage and maybe higher production quality video for IGTV, obviously you're going to be using that rear camera. As a matter of fact, all of the footage that you saw in the intro to this video was taken on the BlackBerry Key 2. And if you're watching the YouTube version of this, well, you can see how I was trying to use vertical video in my vlogs already anyway. Now, as long as the phone recognizes that it is in portrait mode, putting together these videos is as simple as creating a sequence in something like Adobe Premiere Pro, which is what I use, and you can just piece together your video one by one and then get creative with your transitions and your effects a little bit later. But at the very least, you have this example of how vertical video off of a phone can get you started right away. If you want to edit your phone footage on your phone, there are some applications out there that will help you, like Adobe Premiere Clip and Power Director, but I'm sure that even more applications will appear in the Play Store and in the App Store because IGTV is now a thing. So that's the number one tip, because there are probably a lot of you on IGTV who are casual Instagram viewers, and you're wondering how you can get started in this new platform. Well, you're actually holding it in your hand. Number two, use your existing footage or style. The second and third tips are basically geared towards existing creators. If you're doing videos like this already, the more traditional sense for YouTube, maybe you're vlogging or you're doing gaming videos, here are ways that you can maybe add some steps to your workflow to make these videos vertical for IGTV. So for example, if you take this existing clip right now, you can go up to the sequence settings in Premiere Pro. I'm not sure where exactly that is in Final Cut Pro, but I'm sure if you use that program, you know where to go. You can change the aspect ratio or even the resolution to be the reverse of what we have right now. Obviously, I'm using a full HD or 1080p frame, and you can just reverse those numbers so that it is instead 1080 by 1920. And then from there, you can take the video and manipulate it in a number of different ways. One thing that you can do immediately is just crop it in or scale it so that it cuts the sides off and you just have the center, or you can move it around if you want to focus on a particular portion of the frame. Obviously, with me in the middle right now, we're just going to take the middle, and this is what it would look like on IGTV if this was the kind of video that you manipulated. You can also take the video and shrink it down so that there's space above and below it, or you can actually manipulate it across this vertical frame and add other elements to it, maybe another video or some social media shoutouts, or you can actually add captions to your video so that it is easier for people who may not have their audio on IGTV. And of course, one other way that you can do this is by just rotating your footage. You might have to tell your viewers to rotate their phones before you go to that clip, or else it'll be a little bit jarring for the person that's watching. But you can always just rotate that footage and other people will just have to adjust accordingly. Number three, simply rotate your camera. This tip is like putting the first two together, and it's probably going to make you guys cringe the most. But I have done this for IG Stories because I was just focusing on that platform, and if I was going to move to IGTV and get away from YouTube, this might be the way that I do it. Yes, I have shot some videos like this before, some 15-second clips all stitched together for my IG stories, and it only makes sense to do this kind of thing for longer form content on IGTV. And that's the thing, if you were going to have a vertical camera like this or just your smartphone like that, you know exactly what it's going to look like on the vertical platform. That makes life a little bit easier if you're focusing on Instagram stories or IGTV. On the other hand, if you're using existing footage like in my second tip, you have to be a little bit aware of just how far you are from the camera or how close your subject is or what kind of framing you have, because you know you're going to cut maybe the middle out or the sides depending on how you want to frame it. It's always exciting to see a new platform create competition in the space, because not only does IGTV provide a whole new place for creators to create content, but it also makes you think differently about how you create it. And that makes the creators, well, creative. Especially if you're an Instagram stories person like I have been for quite a while now, IGTV makes a lot of sense. So if you are always on Instagram and you're always doing videos for it anyway, maybe you just kind of shift it and create a channel on IGTV so that people can enjoy the content that you create. When you create a platform that actually expands the stuff that you're already doing, it just opens up the possibilities. So as always, thank you so much for watching. No matter what platform you're watching me on, you can either subscribe to me on YouTube or follow me over on Instagram. You can always find me on any social media platform at JVTechT. Hit some likes or some hearts, and then get into the comment sections down below so we can have a discussion about this new frontier called IGTV, or you could just call it vertical video. All right, I'm gonna call it on this one. So remember, enjoy your tea, everybody.